Hey, before you spend 15, 20, maybe even $30,000 on a motorcycle in 2026, you need to watch this video first. Because right now, the market is full of bikes that look incredible on paper, ride great on a test loop, and then 6 months after the warranty expires, hit you with repair bills that make your eyes water. We're talking electronics failures, sensor gremlins, depreciation cliffs so steep they'd make a cliff diver nervous, and in some cases, documented recalls and known mechanical issues that manufacturers quietly fixed, but that used market never got the memo. I'm your host here at Restoring Rides, and today we're going through 12 motorcycles that, for one reason or another, you seriously need to think twice about in 2026. Stick around because number 7 and 3 on this list genuinely surprised me when I was pulling the research together. All right, before we get into these specific bikes, let me give you the 30-second context, because this isn't just random bike bashing. There's a real pattern happening in the industry right now. Motorcycle sales in the US dropped nearly 8% in 2025. Entry-level bikes are now touching 10 grand. Serious touring and adventure bikes are regularly pushing past $30,000. And here's the killer. Financing rates are at their highest in 15 years. So the stakes of making a bad buying decision have never been higher. At the same time, manufacturers are packing more electronics into bikes than ever before. Radar systems, semi-active suspensions, multi-axis IMUs, smartphone integration. And some of that tech is genuinely brilliant, but some of it's half-baked software shipped to meet a release deadline, and you, the rider, are paying for that experiment with your money. The pattern we're seeing, and I've been deep in forums, owner groups, and official recall databases for this one, is that more tech doesn't always mean more reliability. Sometimes it just means more things to break out of warranty. Sound fair? Good. Let's get into it. Let's kick off with a controversial one because I know the comments are going to light up over this. The BMW R1250 GS is not a bad motorcycle. The engine, the shift cam boxer twin, is genuinely bulletproof. Many owners are running these things past 60, 70, 80,000 miles with solid maintenance histories. No argument there. But here's the financial reality in 2026. The R1300 GS has made the 1250 look old. We're talking a completely redesigned frame, a bigger TFT display, radar-assisted adaptive cruise, lane change warning. The 1250 is now 2 Keck generations behind, and the market knows it. The BMW R1250 GS loses roughly 15 to 20% of its value in year one, and another 10 to 12% every year after that. You buy one new today, or even used at a premium, and you're riding a depreciating asset with aging tech in a segment that just leapfrogged it. Great bike, questionable investment in 2026. The V-Strom 1050DE is one of those bikes that looks like a dream, capable, well-priced, solid Suzuki heritage, but spend some real time in the owner groups and a theme keeps coming up. The electronics package is genuinely frustrating to live with. The quick shifter behavior is inconsistent. The traction control calibration is overly intrusive in a way that feels unintuitive rather than helpful. For a bike at this price point in 2026, you expect the electronics to support your ride, not interrupt it. This one hurts to say because on paper, the Pan America is a genuinely exciting thing from Harley. An American adventure bike, good engine, bold styling, but two specific issues keep following this bike. First, humidity sensitivity. Multiple owners in hotter, wetter climates, think Texas, Florida, and across Southeast Asia, have reported electrical glitches tied to moisture getting into sensor connectors. This isn't a rumor, it's a documented pattern. Second, urban heat management. In stop-and-go city traffic, the engine heat management can get uncomfortable, rider-facing heat and occasional high-temp warnings. And remember, a 2024 Harley recall highlighted voltage regulator wiring rubbing against the crankcase, causing a potential short circuit and sudden loss of propulsion with zero warning. That's not the kind of surprise you want in traffic.
The Touareg 660 is a genuinely fun machine. Lightweight, capable off-road, great ergonomics. If you're buying new with a solid warranty, potentially fantastic. But if you're looking at a used one or one that's out of warranty, buyer beware. Software bugs have plagued this model. Dashboard freezes mid-ride, TFT glitches, and connectivity issues that require dealer visits to reset rather than a simple restart. The hardware platform has potential, but the software needed more time in the oven before it shipped. By the way, if this video is saving you from a financial headache, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button on Restoring Rides. We do this research so you don't have to. And if you've personally owned one of these bikes and have a story, drop it in the comments. I genuinely read every single one. The MT9 is, without question, one of the most exciting naked bikes on the market. Punchy engine, agile handling, iconic street presence. But the 2024-2025 generation comes with some irritating reality checks. Owners are reporting laggy TFT displays, inputs registering late, menus stuttering, which is frustrating when you're trying to change a riding mode quickly. The traction control calibration has also drawn complaints for being unpredictable rather than progressive. And then there's the front suspension. It's genuinely undersized for the power and performance the bike is capable of, and a significant number of owners end up upgrading to aftermarket forks, which is fine if you budgeted for it. But if you're paying full price for a new MT9, you shouldn't need to budget a suspension upgrade on top of it. Here's one that surprised me during research, and it explains why I put it at 7. The Ducati Multistrada V4 had an official recall on early 2021 production models for valve guide quality issues. The guides on a batch of engines were found to experience premature wear, which in extreme cases could lead to valve head failure and loss of engine power. Ducati's response was solid. They actually replaced entire engines on affected units. But here's the thing. If you're shopping used V4 Multistradas from 2021 and early 2022 without a clear documented service history, you have no guarantee that recall work was done. Add to that some radar sensor error codes that have shown up in early production bikes, and the advice is clear. If you want a Multistrada V4, stick strictly to post-2023 examples with a verifiable dealership history. The Himalayan 450 is RE's most ambitious bike yet, liquid-cooled, genuinely capable, and priced accessibly. But the honest assessment from real-world ownership, particularly coming in from the Indian market and early global adopters, is that this motorcycle is still maturing. Overheating complaints in heavy traffic, liquid cooling system issues on some early builds, TFT screen freezes. These aren't catastrophic failures, but they're the kind of problems that signal a platform that wasn't quite ready for prime time. RE will almost certainly iron these out over time, but right now in 2026, you're potentially paying to be a beta tester. This one genuinely breaks my heart a little because Honda's reputation is built on reliability. The Transalp 750 was supposed to be a mid-weight adventure benchmark. Instead, it landed with a durability asterisk attached to it. The main complaints are consistent engine vibration at highway speeds that fatigues the rider over longer distances and wind protection that's simply inadequate for touring use. Vibration through the bars and pegs at motorway cruising speeds is not what you want on a bike marketed toward adventure touring. Honda will fix this, they always do, but right now the first generation Transalp 750 is a lesson in buying a bike in its second or third model year, not its first. Let me be precise here because the Africa Twin is actually a great motorcycle when it's right. The issue is specific to the 2020 through 2022 DCT versions. The dual-clutch transmission on that generation developed documented problems, slipping clutches and sensor failures that triggered false neutral situations and erratic shifting behavior. Honda recalled the Africa Twin in 2024 for a related ECU software issue, a fuel injection error that could cause stalling when wheelie control was active. And if you go further back into that 2020 to 2022 window, DCT sensor reliability is a real conversation in the owner community. Post 2023 Africa Twins, much more confidence. But a used 2020 to 22 DCT model as a first buy, run the VIN check before you even test ride it. Budget segment now, and this one's interesting because the TRK 702X has been a commercial success. You see them everywhere. Good-looking bike, solid list of features, accessible price point. But spend time with owners past the 12-month mark and a story emerges. The electronics package is rough around the edges. Inconsistent traction control behavior, vibrations that get uncomfortable above highway speeds, and build quality that feels increasingly mismatched with a price that's quietly crept upward. You're paying near middleweight European money for Chinese brand build quality that hasn't fully caught up yet. The resale value reflects that reality. CF Moto has been making big moves, and I genuinely think they'll be a player in a few years. But right now, in 2026, the 800 MT Touring is a cautionary tale about buying into a brand's promise rather than their track record. Build quality is inconsistent batch to batch. Some owners have great bikes, others are dealing with electrical gremlins from month one. Software stability is a problem, and critically, the resale value on these machines is low. Dealers aren't queuing up to take them as trade-ins. Private buyers are cautious. If things go sideways with this bike out of warranty, finding a qualified independent mechanic who knows the platform is a real challenge depending on where you live. And at number 1, the Moto Morini X-Cape 650. This is a beautiful motorcycle. Seriously, go look at it. The styling is genuinely sharp, and on paper, the specs look solid for the price. But the ownership reality in 2026 is rough. Electronics instability, and perhaps most alarming, premature wheel bearing failure on multiple examples. Wheel bearings are a safety-critical component. When independent owner reports and forum threads across countries are aligning on premature bearing failures, that's a serious flag. Couple that with a service network that simply isn't mature enough in North America, the UK, or Australia to support the bike reliably outside major cities, and the X-Cape is a purchase that looks like a bargain until it isn't. So where does this leave you as a buyer in 2026? The smartest move, and I'm seeing this shift in real rider communities right now, is this. Look at bikes that are a generation or two old from manufacturers with proven reliability. Bikes where the software bugs got patched, the design issues got addressed, and, crucially, the depreciation hit is already done. A 2021 or 2022 Honda Africa Twin without DCT. A post-recall, post-software update Ducati Multistrada V4 with full history. A simpler mid-displacement bike from a brand that builds mechanically rather than electronically. The riders who are getting the best value in 2026 aren't chasing the newest radar-equipped, semi-active, fully connected tech showcase. They're buying mechanical confidence, the peace of mind that comes from knowing your bike will start, run, stop, and get you home without a check engine light ruining your weekend. And honestly, that's what we at Restoring Rides are all about, the love of bikes that work. All right, if you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of thoughtful writer this channel exists for. Smash that like button if any of these surprised you, and subscribe if you want more real talk about bikes, buying smart, and not getting burned by the market. Drop in the comments, which bike on this list did you almost buy? Or, controversial take welcome, do you think I'm wrong about one of them? Let's get the debate going. I'll be in there. I'm your host at Restoring Rides. Ride smart, ride safe. See you in the next one.